everyone would please rise for our invocation from Chaplain John Gerhardt.
You can do whatever you want. Say anything you want, do anything you want. All you are.
Thank you, Chairman Carter. Would you bow your heads with me for our invocation? Lord our God, as we begin this meeting of our hospital board, we pause to ask for your hand of favor and direction for the orders of the day. It is written in the Scripture that God is opposed to the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So we bow our heads and we humble our hearts as we reflect upon the weighty privilege entrusted to us, the privilege of caring for the ailing and the sick in our community. Would you grant our leaders and this, our hospital board, with insight and wisdom from heaven above as they seek to guide the affairs of this great institution of healing? Would you strengthen our staff as they labor day and night serving those in need? And would you, the great physician, bless all of our efforts, we pray, to deliver the greatest of care with the deepest of compassion. These things together we pray. Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board, and I'll start by reading our statement. Any citizen desiring to address the hospital board should turn in a speaker card to the board secretary. If the citizen comment pertains to an item on the agenda today, the comment will be heard early in this meeting. Otherwise, it will be heard towards the end. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 5 minutes. Vendors, suppliers, or other persons seeking hospital contracts awarded on a competitive basis are reminded that their ability to address the board may be restricted by the terms of the invitation for bid, request for proposal, or other purchasing criteria. Lastly, the board has established a claims adjustment review panel comprised of representatives of the board, the medical staff, administration, and legal counsel to review and negotiate the settlement of claims. Accordingly, the board will not entertain comments on or discuss or negotiate claims at this meeting. All right, we'll start with the approval of the orders of the day. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor of the approval of orders of the day indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. Next is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 19th.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you. I don't think we have any board reports, so we'll move to our presentation today from our neurologist hospitalist program, Dr. Juliet Coleman.
Hello. Do I need to use this, or can you hear me?
Please use it.
Please use it? Okay. So I think I met you all briefly last month. I was here last month. I got the Hero Award. Thank you for that. This month, I'm going to just do a brief presentation on the Sarasota Memorial NEUROHOSPITALIST team that has developed since I came. Actually, I was the first NEUROHOSPITALIST in January of 2016. So I don't, I was telling Terry I did a year fellowship in medical education after my residency program, and so I make all my presentations like I'm giving them to first graders. So if you're second graders and you already know half of this, you just have to bear with me. I kind of started with the, with what fueled the birth of the neurohospitalist movement, okay? It's kind of what fueled the birth of the hospitalist movement. And also, I've only got about 7 or 8 slides here, so it's going to be brief. If you want to ask a question in the middle of it, feel free to do so. I think in neurology land, especially with the changes in the medical fields of any specialty or primary care physicians, everything has changed so much in the past several years. reimbursements have been coming down and down and down, and especially for the specialists and subspecialists that we're trying to find new ways to make things fit better into our lives. And, things, and in doing that, it works better for the hospital, too. So I was in Venice and had a practice, outpatient and inpatient practice. So I worked for Gulf Coast Medical Group, and I was right behind the hospital in a practice. And so I've got, there's kind of a shortage of neurologists in most areas in the country. So just like here in Venice, shortage of neurologists. So you're booked out 3 months for new patients, and then you're getting a call for an acute stroke. And so just as you sit down with a new patient and you're 10 minutes into the new patient, your beeper goes off and you've got to say, oh, sorry, I'll be back in an hour. Of course, I can't see you then because now I've got another new patient in that slot, and you run over to the hospital to see the stroke alert. So, but anyway, the neurohospitalist field, most non-neurologists feel ill-prepared to take care of neurology patients in the inpatient and outpatient setting. Neurology is kind of a field all of its own. So, and traditional specialty practices are outpatient-centered more than inpatient-centered. So, similar to medicine hospitalists, neurohospitalists emerged to focus solely on the inpatient care. So I think, I can say that while most neurology practices or most neurologists feel more comfortable in the outpatient setting, and it's also, maybe feel more comfortable is not the right way to talk about that, but it's easier to be lucrative in the outpatient setting. So you can see one patient after the other, in a timely fashion, and anytime you have to go over to the hospital, you've got to get in your car and drive, or you got to walk out, go down an elevator or something. So it takes a while to get there. And then from one patient's room to the next patient's room. So just as hospitalists were formed because primary care specialists were getting that same feeling coming back and forth and starting to drop out of the hospital setting, the neurohospitalists are doing the same thing. So when I came to Sarasota Memorial in January of 2016, I was just feeling that crunch of working constantly, working in my office through the week and then on call in the hospital over the weekend, and then you're coming back in on Monday. So too little sleep, too much time working. And so I called Greg Haynes because he told me that if I ever wanted to leave the area, I better call him first. So anyway, that's how I got hooked up here. And in January of 2016, started working in the hospital, taking some of the pressure off. I think there were 4 or 5 neurologists trying to take call and have outpatient practices. And so it worked very well. I like the hospital work. I trained at the University of Miami, where it was really at Jackson Memorial Hospital. It was more of an inpatient-focused residency training program. The clinic setup was a little bit poorly organized, and so I think that those of us who trained in settings like that maybe have a deeper passion for hospital work. And it's kind of nice if you can find the people who like the hospital work to do the hospital work, and the people who like to do the outpatient work to do the outpatient work, and then everybody is happier and does a better job. So I'm not sure what I put on these slides. Let me see here. It's okay. You're doing fine. That I actually want to talk about. I kind of touched on... I can turn the slides like this? Okay, got it. I just can't use the pointer. Okay. Okay, I talked about everything on that. So on the second slide, the goal of the neurohospitalist team, in my mind, and I came from a business setting before I was a neurologist. When I was 39, I decided I wanted to go to medical school for some crazy reason. And so I was in business before that. So every time I do something in medicine, I look at it from a business aspect. And I kind of, when I went back to prepare this presentation, it was sort of in retrospect, I learned what I already found out when I started doing the job. That the neurohospitalist being in the hospital, and I found the same thing in Venice, actually. I was the first neurologist there for Gulf Coast. And you think, as you keep hiring neurologists, that you're going to run out of patients. But in fact, they exponentially multiply. I don't know where they come from, but the more neurologists we brought on board, the more patients came. And so we never did get beyond that 3-month wait, even when we got up to 4 neurologists in the office at one point. And then we started losing neurologists, and things were kind of, let's just say I came up to Sarasota Memorial Hospital. But you can improve the quality of the inpatient care because there's someone in the hospital, and when there's a neurologist always visible in the hospital, you get more consults. You know, you get that teamwork kind of thing going between the medicine hospitalists and the private practice specialists and subspecialists, and you get more work to do. So as I started working, first I took the pressure off the other guys, and then all at once everything was doubling. So I had twice as much work. So in January 2016, I started. In October 2016, well, a few months after I started, my old partner from Venice, who had gone to Texas, called me and said, "How do you like it up there?" And I said, "I love it. I can get you a job in 5 seconds." And so she came to work with me. Let me see where she is. There she is. There's Carla. There's me, and there's Carla. Carla Torres started in October of 2016. And so my fellowship training was in medical education, and then I'm actually also board certified in vascular neurology. And Carla's board certified fellowship trained in clinical neurophysiology, which is the EMG, EEG, and those kind of electrophysiologic studies that neurologists do. So in fact, when we go back, oops, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, I keep forgetting how to use this thing. Back to this second slide. You know, when someone's here all the time, you're avoiding delays in treatment, you're improving overall outcomes, you're decreasing the length of stay, because when there's a neurologist that's in a community setting outside the hospital, they've got to wait until 6 o'clock p.m. when their office is their office work is completed, so they can come over and do the inpatient work. And so you may have a patient waiting the whole entire day to be seen by a neurologist who's waiting to be discharged. So decreasing length of stay. And in the stroke program, as far as the acute stroke alerts, you're decreasing the door-to-needle time. So the door-to-needle time, I don't know if you're familiar with all of this. Maybe you already are. That's what we call, when someone hits the door in the emergency room, the time it takes for us to actually give them the TPA, the IV TPA for acute stroke. So we call that the door-to-needle time, and that's one of the ways that our outcomes are measured, because the faster you get that medication in, the more likely you are to break up the clot and the better outcome for the patient. So in fact, that door-to-needle time is actually decreasing, and I think I've got that on the very last slide. And I'm probably already blabbing way too much, and my 5 minutes is up, but the dealing with end-of-life issues is something that neurologists do frequently in the inpatient setting, and I think that, that residency programs are seeing now that neurohospitalists are here to stay, and they're going to start honing, a fellowship training to neurohospitalists field, and so you'll see some of that being addressed. Let me see. This I've already talked about. This next slide, that the inpatient needs being covered by a handful of busy community neurologists. And in case you don't know, because my dad, before he died, he always thought for the last 15 years that I was a neurosurgeon. So in case you don't know what we really do as neurologists, on this slide that talks about pre-neurohospitalist team inpatient neurology, besides the acute stroke alerts, the non-urgent neurology consultations that we do are anytime someone has confusion in the hospital and we don't know why, or the non-neurologist doesn't know why. It could be something as simple as a medication overdose, or a little bit too much medication for a person. I won't say an overdose, but or it could be a stroke and they're not waking up. But altered mental status, migraines, neuropathies, seizures, multiple sclerosis, myasthenia gravis, dizziness, Parkinson's disease, ALS, brain tumors, things of that sort. Those are the kinds of things that we're seeing. All right, talked about that. Oh, so who is your average neurohospitalist? This was the slide I was looking for, just to tell you that Carla and I fit right in. 75% have post-residency training or certification, and 70% of those are in vascular neurology. I think about 13% are in the neurointensivist field. Equal numbers coming from academics and private practice. Most are inpatient specialists, free of outpatient responsibilities. And that way, when we leave work, we're done. We don't get those nighttime calls, except when we're on call here. And I think that's the way most of the medicine hospitalists are, and that's the way that they like it. So just another brief overview, the SMH NeuroHospitalist team. I started January 2016. At that time, there was one mid-level ARNP that was working with the stroke program and helping out. Quickly, we found out that wasn't enough because as I was here all the time, the consults just started to double. And so between January and October of 2016, we employed 2 additional mid-levels, one PA and one ARNP. And then Carla Torres started in October 2016. In January of 2017, one additional mid-level was added. And so now we have the 4 mid-levels, and along with myself and Dr. Torres, we have 4 community neurologists who are all covering. We all make a schedule up every 4 months or so and cover 24 hours a day for stroke call and for non-urgent and urgent consults. So that's Dr. Haynes, Dr. Sutherland, Dr. Concha, and Dr. Gonzalez. And so this slide, my last slide, this is to show you, I tried to get, I probably didn't prepare for this in advance far enough because I thought it would be simple in this day of technology to just pull up how many neurology consultations were done in SCM over 2015 and 2016 and 2017, but that seemed to be taking an act of God. I was on an email chain that was going nowhere. So, but in 2000, I did get some stroke program information. In 2015, from January to December, all the neurologists at Sarasota Memorial Hospital who saw acute stroke patients and gave TPA, there were 70 patients who received TPA in a median time of 49 minutes. So that door-to-needle time was 49 minutes. In 2016, after I started, January through December, the cases that I gave TPA to were 26, and the door-to-needle time was 39 minutes. Okay, and that's just the difference of not having to have someone run over from an office if they're not here in the building already. And all the other SMH neurologists, 87 cases, median time did come down to 45 minutes because as soon as you put a little pressure, not that we're in competition, but we are in friendly competition. And also, the program is constantly trying to improve that. So when we're consistently making the door-to-needle time of 60 minutes, we reduced it to 45 minutes. So now the door-to-needle time is 45 minutes, and now that we're closer to that, we're reducing it to 30 minutes. So in 2017, Dr. Torres and myself combined January through July. The median time still 39 minutes, and all other neurologists, that's all other neurologists here at SMH, 45 minutes. So even though that may not seem like a lot, from 49 to 39 minutes, that's humongous. Because when brain tissue is deprived of oxygen and blood, every second counts, definitely every minute. So 5 minutes is humongous, 10 minutes is huge. So that's it. Any questions? She's not here at this presentation. Nope. She's fabulous, though. Hopefully I won't have a presentation next time. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I will just say, Mr. Chairman, that 45 minutes is miraculous for any hospital, and so we really appreciate all of our neurologists that are doing everything they can.
Used to call it the golden hour. Now if you can get it down to 45, you saved a lot of brain tissue.
The body.
So I am happy to announce today our July 2017 Excel Award winner, Mr. Grady Law. Grady, can you come up and join me? All right, you're going to make me look good. No. Grady Law is our July Excel Award winner. Grady is a lead in hospitality services, Central Transport. He's worked at Sarasota Memorial since 2008. 2 themes run through all of Grady's nominations: professionalism and kindness. That's a special combination. His workers say Grady brings out the best of everyone he works with. He encourages others to do the best they can and leads by example. When faced with a challenging situation, Grady stays positive, and he goes a step further, as coworkers say. He coaches those around him to do the same. Grady is always willing to do what's best for Sarasota Memorial, the department, and his coworkers, they confirm. One employee who works with Grady said she was especially grateful for his prayers and concerns when her daughter was in ICU. In summary, Grady has a smile and a kind word. He takes such pride in his work and does it with joyful attitude. Grady, thank you for everything you do for us and our community. Thank you.
On behalf of the board and administration of the hospital, I'd like to present this plaque. Excel recipients and are employees who are models of excellence and consistently demonstrate the mission, vision, and values of our organization. They are superior performers that make an extra effort in the quality and care of our patients and families in the community. The hospital board and administrative staff of Sarasota Memorial Healthcare System recognizes Grady Law with the Excel Award for the month of July 2017. Thank you for your continued dedication to excellence. Signed by David Verinder, our president, and Gregory Carter, our chairman. Congratulations. Good
Thanks
job.
again.
Absolutely.
Good morning, afternoon. I just want to say thank you to the board, to those, whoever nominated me,
There was a lot of people not.
and
There wasn't one.
whoever voted me for this. I'm very elated to receive such an award. Thank you, Mr. Verinder. My manager, Mr. Wheeler, got to be the greatest manager in the hospital. He's awesome. This is a great place to work and great people to work with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we are today we have our leadership award for our second quarter 2017. So I'd like to invite Sue Olson to come up and join me. Sue. Come stand by me. Don't leave me here. So Sue Olson is our leadership award winner for the second quarter. Sue is the Director of Critical Care, Trauma Services, Hemodialysis, Rapid Response Team, MPCU, and a Trauma Progressive Care. And she's been with Sarasota Memorial since 1992. That's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot.
You're good at all of it, though, right? Yeah, all right. So clearly, Sue's responsibilities are many and great. We can say the same about our award nominations. Here are just a few comments from her co-workers. Sue typifies an excellent nursing leader. She's confident and experienced, the ideal role model. Sue loves to pilot new initiatives and truly values the opinions of her staff. She's expert at developing people and into something greater than they knew they could be. Sue has been pivotal in maintaining the highest quality of care through high growth periods for both cardiovascular and trauma services. Sue recognizes the importance of frontline staff on patient experience, being their advocate, so that makes her a strong advocate for her patients. One of her peers offers this in summary. We are fortunate to have such a resilient, talented, and authentic leader. Sue, we thank you so much for everything you've done. Okay?
Sue, on behalf of the board and administrative staff of the Sarasota Memorial Hospital, we're pleased to present this leadership award. There's a quote on this plaque from John Quincy Adams, former president of our great nation. He said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." So the hospital board and administrative staff of Sarasota Memorial Healthcare System present Susan Olson with the Leadership Award for the second quarter 2017 with thanks and for your continued dedication to excellence, signed by David Verinder and our chairman, Mr. Gregory Carter. Congratulations, Sue.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is a very humbling experience. I couldn't do it without all of the team I have around me. The one thing I think I'm thankful for every day is that we have the best hospital in the community, and I see miracles every day come in the door here, and without the team around us, we couldn't do the work that we do here, so thank you very much.
Scott, perfect timing. You're up next.
Next item is the medical staff report from Dr. Stevens. You made it back just in time.
Just in time to say, I have no report.
Oh, I think I'm next.
Foundation report, Masonary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a brief report for the board today. First of all, with our special events, I'm happy to report that we're off to a strong start in sponsorships for the first two events. We've got the Key to the Cure, which is on October 12th, and also our brand new hospital gala, which is going to be on January 13th. If you haven't marked your calendars already, I hope all of you will be able to join us at those two events for sure. And then finally, I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce one of our new staff members at the foundation, Patrick McQuillan. He has joined the foundation as a director of major gifts. He's actually out in the audience there. Patrick comes to us from the NCH Healthcare Foundation down in Naples. We're happy to have him on our team, and just if you guys could please join me in welcoming him to Sarasota Memorial.
Welcome, Patrick.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Next is our secretary's report, Tram Hudson.
Mr. Chairman, I have 4 dates I'd like to call attention to the board and to the public. The employee picnic will be held on Thursday, August the 17th for the second and third shifts from 7 to 10 p.m., and all board members are invited. There is an employee picnic on Friday, August the 18th for the first shift from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the hospital. On August the 21st, here at the hospital, we will have our regularly scheduled meetings from 9 to 10:30. The Mission and Planning Committee will meet from 10:30 to noon. The Investment Committee will meet between noon and 12:30. The Peer Review Committee will meet. Our board review of financial and other issues between 12:30 and 2. And finally, at 2 o'clock on that day, we will have our board meeting in this room. The next date I'd like to call to your attention is on August the 30th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at the hospital. We will conduct our annual board budget retreat. That's the only report I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Tram, very much. Next is our treasurer's report, Jim Meister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move approval of the bad debt and charity care for the month ended June 30th, 2017, in the amount of $18,221,000.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Financial highlights from our Chief Financial Officer, Bill Wolcham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have the financial highlights for June. We'll start with the operating revenue for the system. For the month of June, operating revenue $65,726,000 compared to a budget of $56,729,000. Fiscal year to date, and this represents 3 quarters of activity, $590,559,000 compared to a budget of $547,182,000. For the total expenses for the system, for the month of June, $61,882,000 compared to a budget of $58,557,000. Through 9 months of activity in our fiscal year to date, $550,501,000 compared to a budget of $541,534,000. Our operating income in the rating agency format for the month of June, $7,035,000 compared to a budget of $1,267,000. The operating margin was actual at for June at 10%, compared to a budget of 2.1%. Fiscal year to date, operating income of $67,229,000, which generates a 9-month operating margin of 10.7%. This compares very favorably to the budget of $33,499,000, operating margin of 5.7%. Looking at statistics for the hospital, and these are all year-to-date numbers, so 9 months of activity. Average daily occupancy, 493 patients, and that is equal to the budget for the month, for the 9 months. Admissions, 25,309, compared to a budget of 23,755. Our average length of stay over the 9-month period is 4.51 days, and this compares favorably to last year at 4.63. The hospital surgery cases through 9 months, 17,080, compared to a budget of 16,821. We've had 2,585 births, compared to a budget of 2,566. Looking at the hospital's outpatient registrations, through 9 months, 333,621, compared to a budget of 336,480. And emergency care center registrations, 93,604 between the two ERs. This compares to the budget of 96,648. And through 9 months, our case mix index is 1.89 for all patients and 1.99 for Medicare patients. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Bill, very much. Go to our committee reports. We'll start with the Finance Committee. Jim Meister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The minutes of the April 17, 2017 joint meeting of the Finance and Audit Committees were approved. Bill Volgen presented information for the committee to consider for setting the preliminary tax millage rate for 2018. He outlined the system's growth plans for 2018 and beyond, and he also reviewed the cost pressures that are impacting the system in preparing the budget for 2018. The taxable value of property in Sarasota County, including the value of new construction, has increased 8% over the past year. Management recommendation for the year 2018 preliminary rate was for 1.0420, which is a 1% reduction from the current rate. The board discussed the information provided, and I'd like to read a motion, if I may. I move approval of setting the tentative maximum tax millage rate at the current rate of 1.0420, 1% lower than the millage rate for fiscal 2017, and for setting the dates for the tax hearings as September 5th at 5:01 for the public hearing and September 18th at 5:01 for the final tax hearing as recommended by the Finance Committee.
I'll second that motion.
Just maybe a clarification. Jim read that we were going to recommend setting it at the current rate, and that's not the current rate.
No, it's the lower rate.
It's the lower rate.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
that's
1%
correct.
below our current rate.
I heard that too.
Yep.
Yeah. My bad.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, if I may, Tom Perigo and Jim Bugas.
Oh, wait.
I'm sorry, we got to have approval. Right.
Questions, comments?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
For our past rules and way we did business, public will note this is not the millage rate, this is the proposed. You will have a public shot at it one more time.
Comments?
I'm sorry, just for a point of clarification, there will actually be 2 hearings on this. So there will be a preliminary tax hearing, as Mr. Meister announced on the, I can't remember the dates.
5th of September.
And then the final hearing
On the 18th.
on the 18th.
questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
If I may, Tom Perigo and Jim Bugas presented the proposal for the FP&L Arlington Vault project, which will improve the electrical feed to major parts of our hospital. The vault contains a generator and switchgear that are over 35 years old, and some mechanical parts are no longer available for repair or replacement. The vault is only supported by a single electrical feed to the system from FP&L, and additional repairs would require a major overhaul to the aging system. The project will tie the areas of the hospital currently supported by the Arlington Vault to the more efficient central energy plant and use the spare switchgear in the new rehabilitation pavilion. The new transformer will be installed inside the hospital to go in the main electrical room. Demolition of the vault will also provide more space for the planned west parking garage, allowing for 30 more parking spaces. The cost of the project includes design, construction, and equipment and will be $1,500,000. The project is proposed to be funded with surplus funds from the rehabilitation project. And I have another motion I'd like to read, Mr. Chairman. I move approval of the FP&L Arlington Vault project in the amount of $1,500,000 to be funded with surplus funds from the Rehabilitation Pavilion project as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
I just have a few other points of information, Mr. Chairman. Megan Riegling presented an overview of the functions of the managed care department. She covers the role and responsibilities of the staff, the payer mix, and major managed care plans with which the system has contracts. Megan also discussed the current industry environment, managed Medicare, and managed Medicaid. Lastly, Pam Ramhofer presented a look back of the Health Information Exchange project that was approved by our board in March of 2015 for $3 million. The Health Information Exchange allows secure electronic sharing of the patient's medical information among healthcare providers. It enables clinicians to share your medical history, lab or image results, as well as prescription information. This is accomplished with their native EMR or via the clinical viewer. To date, the HIE, which is Health Information Exchange, includes more than 750,000 unique items of clinical data, more than 373,000 unique patients, number of contributing inpatient providers, 135 contributing community providers, 300 users, and 24 contributing systems. Growth of the system continues, and there is approximately $336,000 of budget remaining. There's no motion necessary or any activity required. Lastly, Bill Volgen provided the committee with two information items: a recent article from Moody's Investor Services on the preliminary ratio medians for not-for-profit hospitals, and lastly, a summary of the system's insurance renewals for the insurance period beginning April 16, 2017 and ending April 15, 2018. No motion necessary, and that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Quality Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Quality Committee also met this morning at 10:30, but since that committee is held in closed session, I do not have a report.
Our President's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am start today, like we do each and every month, looking at our organizational report card for our results ending year-to-date in June of 2017. We start in our service pillar, and we look at our number of domains and our HCAP inpatient scores, our number of domains greater than or equal to the 50th percentile. We have a goal of being 8 out of 11. We are currently running 7 out of 11, and I'll show you the details on that here in a minute. On the outpatient side, we have the number of domains at or greater than 50th percentile. We have a goal being 55 out of 58. I'm happy to report we are beating that goal, and we're currently at 57 out of 58 at 50th percentile or greater. In the people pillar, we have our turnover of our full-time and part-time employees. Within 12 months of hire, we have a goal being at 25% turnover or less. We are not hitting that right now. We're a little bit higher than that at 25.29%. Still making progress, but still missing being a little bit higher than the goal. In the quality pillar, we have our infection prevention, which is our overall standardized infection rate. We have a goal of being less than 0.95. I'm happy to report we're quite a bit less than that at 0.85, and if you think that the national average or the expected value would be 1.0 of our cases, we're considerably below that. In our finance pillar, we have our organization, which our CFO, Bill Wojcin's already reported on today. We have our operational margin, our goal or our budget being at 5.1%. Happy to report that, as Bill said earlier, that we're anticipating exceeding that at 9% for the year. And in our growth pillar, we have our strategic growth organizational goals. Our first one being our inpatient admits and observation patients. We have a goal at 38,899. Happy to report that we are exceeding that at 42,350. In our outpatient registrations, a goal of 799,000. We are a little low. We're projecting to be below that at 785,593. So we look at our HCAP scores. You can see what our results are for this year. Year to date, we have 3 months left of the year, as everyone knows. We are missing our 50th percentile or better on 4 items: responsiveness to hospital staff, communication with physicians, cleanliness of the hospital environment, and quietness of the hospital environment. And you can see where we are on that. And you can also see those that we are meeting or exceeding as well. So a lot of work continuing on this. Quite honestly, it never stops. This is really one of the main focuses throughout the system. Moving into the quality part of our pillars, we have SMH earns our NICHE designation for commitment to excellence in our care of older adults. So Sarasota Memorial is now designated a niche facility, nurses improving care for health system elders. So niche is the premier national geriatric nursing program addressing the needs of hospitalized older adults 65 and older. Participation demonstrates the system's commitment to achieving the best possible outcomes for older patients through evidence-based, age-sensitive nursing care and comprehensive support for families and caregivers. There are currently 710 hospitals with the niche designation, and niche collaborates with over 43,000 healthcare providers on important geriatric issues. So we appreciate our team for getting us there. Staying in quality, I'm proud to announce that SMH was just listed as among America's most wired hospitals. So we were by the American Hospital Association. Results from healthcare's Most Wired survey spotlight SMH among 461 tech-savvy hospitals pioneering emerging technologies that promote and secure exchange of patient data and use of smart devices, telehealth, and remote monitoring, and encouraging patients to become more involved in their care. The hospitals were recognized for developing sophisticated IT systems that support quality and safety, such as barcode medication administration, real-time decision support alerts, and controls to protect patients and staff from privacy breaches. So congratulations to our I-team, particularly our Chief Information Officer, Pam Ramhofer, who certainly has led this development. Is she standing behind me? She's right here. Congratulations, Pam. All right. Glad I didn't say anything else about her there. So, sticking in quality, an expert team of Sarasota Memorial staff has developed a new program to give employees additional resources to de-escalate potentially violent situations without using force and protect patients and employees from injury. The new strategy, Behavioral Health Timeout Procedure, helps staff identify and respond to conditions and circumstances that cause aggression. The new program was successfully piloted in the emergency care center and other areas, and is rolling out to nursing units house-wide. So thanks for the team that's involved there. Celebrating our safety superheroes. The operating room recently celebrated a National Timeout Day, encouraging the use of timeouts to prevent wrong site, wrong procedure, or wrong person surgeries. The initiative from the Association of Perioperative Registered Nurses and the Joint Commission uses the superhero acronym to promote safety. So support a safety culture. Use the Joint Commission's Universal Protocol and AORN surgical checklist. Proactively reduce risk in the OR. Effect change in your organization. Reduce harm to patients. Have frank discussions about hazardous situations, empower others to speak up when a patient is at risk, respect others on the surgical team, and openly seek opportunities for improving patient safety. Still in the area of quality, Sarasota Memorial Pain Care Specialist, Dr. Eugene Piera, is the first physician on the Suncoast offering a new FDA-approved Superion implant for people with painful spinal stenosis on their lower back. An alternative to spinal decompression surgery, Veriflex's Superion fills an important gap between the conservative non-surgical treatments and a traditional surgery. So congratulations to Dr. Piera for everything he's done. Moving into people, we want to welcome our new quality director. Sarasota Memorial recently welcomed Mary Gary, who's a PhD in RN, as our new executive director of quality. Mary brings more than 35 years of experience in nursing and healthcare to the organization, including 25 years in healthcare quality. Previously, she served as Vice President of Quality, Safety, and Risk at Sacred Heart Health System in Pensacola. A certified patient safety officer through the Institute for Healthcare Improvement, Mary has also worked as a surveyor consultant for Joint Commission International. So I think we feel very fortunate and lucky to have Mary join our organization, and the board met her this morning. Hope you join me in that. Staying in people, we also named a new volunteer director. Jennifer Payon has joined Sarasota Memorial as the Director of Volunteer Services in the gift shop. Jennifer oversees the recruitment, placement, and retention of the hospital's 650-plus volunteers in coordination of volunteer activities. Previously, Jennifer served as the Director of Volunteer Services for University Medical Center in Princeton, in New Jersey. I will tell you what Jennifer would like is more applications to be volunteers here. So there's our shameless plug to have anyone listening to us go ahead and apply here, and we think it's a fantastic program. Staying in people, Sarasota Memorial partnered with Suncoast Charities for Children to help ensure safety of participants and spectators at the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix race in early July. Physicians, physician assistants, and nurses from our emergency and urgent care centers staffed medical tents in key locations throughout the festival, providing first aid services. And it's a little dark picture, but you can see in that picture Frank Morgan, Dr. Holland, and the rest of the team there. And I actually went out and visited them out there, and they were incredibly well received on the beaches that day. So appreciate their time. So this is kind of interesting. So Sarasota Memorial now has a perfect stress reliever, the opportunity for staff, visitors, and patients to pet and play with a friendly dog each Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. in Health Connection. The dogs and their owners are part of the Humane Society's pet therapy program, which assesses and trains the pooches. The new initiative is an expansion of Sarasota Memorial's longstanding pet therapy program for patients. Pet Paws recognizes that staff and visitors also benefit from interaction with animals and is the brainchild of SMH Health and Wellness Committee. So if you're up here on a Thursday between 2 and 3, I'd invite you to go pet a dog. As always, we have many free lectures that go on through our system during the month. I would invite you to go to the website, our website, and take a look at what we have to offer. Some we ask that we have an RSVP for, so we can just get a good patient count or person count into there, and others are that we know we have enough room. So please go on and take a look. Once again, another page of this, but these are all on our website, and I'd invite you to go take a look. In the growth area, SMH welcomes our new internal medicine residents and opens our new town practice. On July 1st, the first class of 13 resident physicians launched SMH's new graduate medical education program, developed with FSU's College of Medicine to offset physician shortages and improve access to care. On July 5th, more than 300 community members and leaders met the residents while celebrating the grand opening of the Jane and Alfred Goldstein Health Center at Sarasota Memorial Internal Medicine Practice, Newtown. So I know many of you were there. I'm quite sure that our community very much appreciated you coming out. It was a very warm day, which is another word for it was very hot. But I think it was a very special moment where we had participants from all throughout our community and get together and celebrate that. So once again, appreciate that. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Consent agenda, I don't think it's on that. Public comment, Karen.
None, sir.
Legal matters, Carol Ann.
I have no report.
Sure.